to give them education, empowerment, and so on and so forth. But even then, the culture plays a huge role. That the culture is not permitting the woman, to become empowered, isn't it? That is a rural society. You can see all these things. They're not allowed to come outside. They are behind the bars of the doors, and they're not come. There are a lot of restrictions. There are a lot of cultural norms. Everything is governed by caste. I mean, the caste as well as the religion and the culture in general, isn't it? Do you agree with
Yes,
me?
sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
And just you observe another factor also, just to enlighten your mindsets. That take the example of toy industry. Take the example of toy, dolls and toys
yes,
that
sir.
children generally play. And if you go to a shop, just observe the toy shop. Okay, the person will be there, sitting there, and is ready to sell his toys. When you enter, the first question he asks that, what you want. Then you'll say, I want a birthday gift for children. Then immediately he says that, no, is it a boy or girl? Then you will suppose, if you say that it's a girl, then immediately he picks up only few, I mean, certain toys that belongs to girls, and the first thing he picks is the baby doll. You understand? You understand what I'm trying to indicate? And a kitchen set, for example. And all this, they whereas suppose if you say the birthday belongs to a boy, small boy, and he'll pick up all the jeeps, guns, all these things are belong to a men, whereas this all these things are belong to a female. And they look at the socialization process, that how these things are actually happens. This is actually governed by the culture in general, isn't it? What I'm trying to indicate?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you are all following now. Do you have any doubts here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this rural sociology basically studies the rural institutions that are located in rural setup. That is very clear. Okay. So whereas the urban sociology deals with the social institutions that are located in urban setup. So it's as simple as that. As simple as that. Okay. So when we understand the nature of rural sociology, right? So as I said that the rural sociology is a study of a rural life of a rural population, rural social organization, rural social process, and so on and so forth. So basically, rural sociology deals with rural society. This is very, very clear. Then why do we have to study rural sociology? And you may ask me that what is this? He is coming today and speaking about rural sociology. Why is he talking about that? We should study the rural sociology. We should study the rural sociology in general, and the importance of rural sociology. Basically, because India is the majority of Indian society is actually belong to the villages, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's where we have to study
With
rural
culture,
society.
religion.
Everything it has. Okay, so therefore, the rural sociology, why it is matters, because this everything is governed by the culture, the society, social structure, social process, and most importantly, this India is a land of villages. So it is not that Hyderabad, it's a big. No, it's not that. More than Hyderabad, you have villages actually.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, and therefore, the majority of the population is living in villages, not in urban societies. The majority of the population lives in rural societies, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So, for that reason, so we have to study the rural sociology. I know, and also the importance of rural sociology gains popular there. Okay, so that's where you are asked to study the rural sociology, because this sociology as a discourse, sociology as a discipline, plays a huge role in in studying the rural society and its population. Okay. Therefore, the rural sociology, which aims at providing systematic and scientific approach to rural problems and life, is assuming great significance because in India, the rural society after independence has acquired a new significance. And look at all the government schemes, and all these schemes are actually based on the rural setup only, not about the urban setup. I mean, they have different schemes for urban also, but rural sociology has plays a huge role while designing the policies of the government. And as someone said that what you observed in rural societies, someone just said that Anganwadis, isn't it?
Yes,
So
sir.
Anganwadis, yeah, they have a lot of Anganwadis are there. So why Anganwadis are there? Because the Anganwadi itself, the word itself, it means it is a, I mean, crèche centers, right, for children.
Ah,
The women, why an Anganwadi are needed? Can anyone say why Anganwadis are needed in the rural society?
to bring up, like from maternity, they are taking care till the kids, maybe to improve.
Very good, very good. That's very good. And it basically because that women are not being treated properly in their homes, and she becomes pregnant. She becomes pregnant, and the meal is ready for only for two people, and she had to sacrifice that meal for next, in the entire households, right? So the what the government thought that to improve the iron deficiency levels, to improve her body setup, they thought that they should be given proper food and nutritious food through Anganwadis. And you might have seen that the pregnant ladies, they're given certain type of eggs, certain types of food, ration for them.
All the
And
nutritional.
all the nutrition. And once they became lactating mothers, right, even the newborn is given proper care, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And a lot the children are giving because why it is this is becoming an important thing, because women are not being treated properly in their home setup. That
Yes.
is why the Anganwadi became another home for them. They come with empty stomach every day. They have their food. The children comes with empty stomach because the lot of poverty is existing in the rural setup. There are a lot of poverty is existing, and more poverty in the sense, even if a household have 100 rupees, that 100 rupees is actually captured by the male, the husband. The woman generally will not have that purchasing capacity, because she is not a breadwinner of the family. She is dependent on the husband. So whatever the husband gives, she has to depend. If the husband doesn't give any allowance, she had to just forgo everything. She had to go and sleep with empty stomach, isn't it? And you might
Yes,
have
sir.
seen all these things in the rural setup. So for that reason, this rural setup is governed by all these factors. And look at the issue of, for example, untouchable communities. They are untouchable. They're facing the problem of caste discrimination on the one hand. The woman faces the double burden. For example, being a untouchable woman is a one problem, and being a woman to that untouchable community is another problem. It's a twin kind of a struggle that she faces. Then what this rural sociology studies these problems. They studies these problems. They identify which one is actually causing the problem, and what will what is the consequence of that particular problem. The rural sociology studies. After studying the rural sociology experts gives that some practical measures to the government. The government listens to those measures, and they design the policies for implementation in health sector, implementation in the education sector, implementation in employment sector, and so on and so forth. Therefore, the rural sociology plays a huge role. Do you have any doubts here?
Clear, sir.
Okay. Thus, the nature, the scope, and the task of sociology is there. is becoming vast because it focuses on the nature of social structure of the rural agrarian society, social development, and the change in the context of planned initiatives taken by the government. So this is becomes a significance of rural sociology. So, what is the importance of rural sociology? If now let us discuss the importance of rural sociology. Do you have any doubts here? You can stop me and ask questions if you have any doubts. Rachel, you have any questions?
No, sir.
Harinath, Navyasri, I can see. Sai Kiran, nothing. You're all following, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, Manimala is also there. I think a few, and you also encourage your, if you have any, I mean, WhatsApp group among your friends, ask them to join the group.
Manimala shared, she encouraged me. I connect.
Oh,
Thank you, Mani.
very nice, very nice. Because this classes, because you're deprived of attending classes physically,
Yes,
right?
sir. It
So
helps a
you
lot.
have only one mode of listening through this only.
Yes, sir.
So for that reason, what are I know you people are busy. You most of are employed people. I don't, but just get some time to listen to these classes because these classes plays a huge role in studying the subject. Okay. So now let us discuss the importance of rural sociology. Why we have to study rural sociology, and what happens when we study rural sociology. Now let us see the importance. Okay, the rural sociology generally plays a great stress on the systematization and scientific analysis of villages and rural communities. Why I'm using the word scientific analysis? Suppose why I'm using the word scientific analysis, because the rural sociology generally prepares teaches us how to study the rural problems. Suppose if another person comes and studies the rural problem, whereas you after studying the rural sociology course, when you go to the rural village, that both are, you study the problem differently, whereas the common man studies the problem differently, because you studied the subject in a scientific manner, because the rural sociology has certain approaches to study the social problems, and you will be trained in that. So once you get a proper training, and you will see the rural society through a different lens altogether, through a different view altogether, whereas the common man sees the problem differently, but whereas you see the problem differently, because the rural sociology as a course trains your mindset differently through scientific approach, because this course has scientific approach, that how to identify a problem and how to study the problem, and what are the sources of the problem, what is the origin of that problem, and what is the cause and consequence of the problem. You'll be studying all these things, right? So after getting that proper training, now you will get a scientific exposure to how to study the rural problems, and so on and so forth. Therefore, a common man studies differently, but whereas the rural sociologist studies differently. For that reason, the rural sociology gives us the scientific approaches to study the social problem. The first point we should remember: scientific approach, isn't it? The next point, is what we have to discuss is that the I mean the rural, for example, agrarian problem. Suppose just talking in terms of the occupation, for example, the agrarian problem you study differently. For example, what is the cause of agrarian crisis? The agrarian crisis, and you go to the village and you will observe the farmlands, and you will observe the agricultural communities, and you will observe what are the caste communities are actually practicing agriculture, and what
Agrarian
is
is an agrarian is an stating that agriculture, sir.
exactly
Agrarian.
agrarian means
Thank you.
agriculture.
Thank you.
Agrarian means agriculture, right? And you find a lot of agriculture, no? And how we are getting food? We are not getting food from supermarkets directly, right? For all this urban population, the food is actually coming from rural setup.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
The agriculture they do, the kind of vegetables they grow, everything, all the seeds, all the the pulses, for example, milk, everything is actually coming from rural setup only,
Yeah.
isn't it? So if this urban society is actually depending on rural society. It's not that rural society is depending on urban society. It's not that. We are all living happily in Hyderabad and cities, enjoying the luxury of urban in systems. But actually, this is actually given by rural society. We are giving food. We are having food for 3 times a day. I know that, but how this food is actually coming? This food is actually coming from agrarian societies, and those are actually coming from rural society, right? So this rural sociology studies the economy of rural societies. They go to the village, they study the economy. The economy is not just economy. The economy the economy by culture. The economy is governed by the caste composition, and so on. So for that reason, so what this course studies is actually and you find different communities perform different sort of economy, right? Someone practices the agriculture, someone practices the pottery, someone practices the barber shops, someone practices the priestlyhood, someone practices toddy, for example. Toddy,
Don't know,
toddy,
sir.
Don't know, sir.
toddy means kallu. Kallu,
Hasha.
you don't know toddy
Okay.
settu. You don't know toddy settu. Are what is this?
Party Chettu. Okay, okay, sir.
Good,
That is
sir.
called toddy, right? Who does that toddy occupation? Which community?
Uh, Name in Telugu is.
Gauds community.
Ah, yes.
Gouds, isn't it?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Gouds. For example, who sells? Who grows this mekalu, avulu? Which community?
Golla.
Yadav.
Yadav.
To see the point. Suppose if I ask you another question, who does this cutting shop?
Babar.
Mangal.
Barber.
Mangal.
Barber is
Barber. Which
from where?
community is that?
Mangal.
Which community? Mangala. Okay. Which community is called washer? Who does this washing business of clothes in the society, rural society? Chakale.
Chakari Valu. Chakari Valu.
Yes.
Ah, suppose if you can just imagine different. Who does the practice of pottery? Pottery ante kundalu. Okay, who does that? I think someone Kuruma, some caste. And who does the practice of fishing community, for example? Who sells the fish? Which community is called?
No idea, sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
Muturaju,
Vadrangi,
right?
Vadrangi carpenter.
Vadrangi carpenter. Very good point. Very good point. See, our house is full of caste only.
Yeah.
If you observe that furniture we sit on the chair is coming from particular caste, the food we eat is coming from that, and you observe the household only, you find a different caste. Those products are actually made and manufactured by particular caste, and in fact those are actually coming from rural societies, isn't it? So when a rural sociologist goes to the village, he observes that this occupation is not just occupation. This occupation is governed by caste. This occupation is governed by cultural norms, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Which is determining culture is determining there. A pottery man he can't go and do a business of fish selling the fish. because that culture is not permitted there. The caste is not permitted, and he is born in that caste, and he has to die for that occupation and die in that caste too. Isn't it? You're getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Therefore, this rural sociology studies in a particular way that this occupation is not just occupation. This occupation is not just money alone. This money, this business is governed by caste composition. And look at the person who, the toddy man, the Kallu, and he belongs to a God community, whereas other communities are not allowed or not even performed that, profession. And look at the person who sells the fish that becomes a fishing man community, whereas the other community is not allowed to perform that occupation. And look at the barber shop, for example, and whereas the other caste communities are not allowed to perform that caste occupation. These occupations are actually the derivatives of cultural components. These occupations are derivatives of cultural linkages because they are coming from generations to generation. From mother to daughter, father to, it's like that. It's coming from different generations to generations. This is where the sociologist goes to the village and studies that no, this entire caste occupations are governed by social structures. He studies the occupation through that lens, through that approach. This is where the scientific approach comes. Isn't it? Any doubts here, me? Any doubts, Rachel?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for that reason, this is one example of caste. The occupation. And you can study another component. Take the example of another component. Another component could be religious festivals. Religious festivals. And you observe that how the religion plays a huge role in celebrating the festivals in rural society. And for example, Sri Ramanavami is a festival. Is this celebrated by Muslim?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No. Or a Ramzan can a Ramzan festival celebrated by Hindu? No, isn't it? So every religion has their own cultural setups. They believe in that, they practice that culture, and they preach that culture, they follow that culture, they die for that culture. Isn't it? From birth to death, everything is governed by cultural practices only. Just imagine if a person is born, okay, on the first 11th day you have some ritual, cultural ritual practice, isn't it? 21st day you have another cultural practice. And the from birth to, and I'll tell you an example, another example, very interesting example, that if suppose if person is born, that immediately the parents or elders of that family, they go to a priest or some way, head of their families. They go to the priest and say that please check the muhurtam. No, please check the muhurtam. And that person will check the muhurtam. They'll say that this your child is born on so and so time and so and so, so he belongs to different this nakshatram, this rashi, so this is declared as and everything he tells. And no, the person's name is actually, the person is born and the name is given to him. The name actually comes from the cultural practice only, based on the belief of God. For example, if they're prime believers of Sri Rama, the child is named after Ramakrishna. Isn't it? So look at all the ritual practices. They're all the derivatives of cultural beliefs only. The name, for example, the name is given, the identity is given, and immediately they get the birth certificate from the government hospital or the hospital in which the child is born. And in just you observe that birth certificate, the first thing is that name is mentioned. Okay, and the next immediately mentions the name of the caste and name of the religion, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Because this plays a huge role. See, the person is born with the caste, is born with the identity. Which identity? The religion is an identity, the caste is an identity, or all these things plays a huge role, isn't it? So this person will carry those identities throughout his life or her life till the death. This is one thing. But even after the death also these rituals continue. For example, you might have gone and see, if someone dies in the family, they'll celebrate based on the norms of the culture, isn't it? This could be a Christianity, that could be a Muslim, that could be a Hindu or whatever. So everything is based on the religious, the beliefs of the particular community, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Yeah, so these are all the derivatives of the cultural beliefs. The rural sociology studies in such a way that in what way those religious practices are practiced, in what way those religious identities are preached and believed and taken together, strengthening the bond among the community and so on and so forth. So this is one thing about the economy. And look at the issue of something called politics, for example. So what do you understand, in the village, typically in the center of the village you find a big tree, baranda, that's called rachabanda.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
you know
That's a band.
where it's like, they come, all the villages, the heads of the village, and you might have seen the even the typical Telugu movies, right?
Yes, sir.
The head of the village will come and sit, with authority, and he gives tirpu as pedarayudu.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Right.
And there is no police station, there is no judiciary, there is no law at all. And you know what, if some issue comes, one becomes the victim, one another become the accused. These two parties come, in front of the villagers, he comes and he sits on the seat of power, and now he'll deliver a tirpu,
Mhm.
right? That is Pedarayad tirpu. And what is happening, here in the rural villages, that the rural village, and you have a instant justice, instant tirpu, the judgment. Whether the judgment is a wrong or right, that's a different case. But they believe in that. The villages even today also, the Rachabanda, the place is a seat of power, is a seat of discussions about the issues. And you know this is where, the Rachabanda means, Racha means what? Racha means Godava. The
Okay.
Racha means Godava.
Right.
Banda is a place where you sit. Isn't it? And that
Yes,
place
sir.
is meant for, to discuss about fights, to discuss about issues. Even, if there is a fight between a husband and wife, they'll lodge a complaint in front of village head. Now, what this village head will say, he'll give a date to everybody, and he'll call all villagers to listen to his judgment. And he listen the voice of the wife, and he listen the voice of the husband, and in which way he can deliver a good justice, and he will deliver, and everyone will clap, isn't it? So this is this if you understand the political system of rural society, you find that nature. Okay, you find the nature that these villages are governed by panchayats. They are going to, this is where we have a gram panchayats, isn't it? In the villages you have a gram panchayats. What is panch? Panch means five, a group of five. Panch means
Punch.
five.
Acha.
Panch, and this is where we call panchanama, for example. The panchanama, all this, panchanama means, the witness is taken from panchanama. Panchanama means it is taken from a group of five people. If five people are there, that is called panchanama. That's
Sir,
called punch.
Punjab. Punjab is example.
Panja. Sorry.
Punjab is an example, sir. So there are five lakes together coming to water.
Right. Very nice. Even I think, there is a place called in Hyderabad, Panjagutta.
Yes, sir.
It's also one of
Yeah,
the.
this is also very true. This is actually the combination of five guttas that existed long, long ago. Now you don't find any guttas. Everything is occupied and become big, big shopping malls. But this Panchagutta also, these guttas are there are five guttas actually existed there. That's called, this is called Panchagutta.
Acha.
Okay.
Okay, the Punjab, as you rightly said, the five rivers, they collide together, and
Yeah.
that's called Punjab. The Panchayat means a group of five people where discuss about certain issues. That's called Panchayat, and
This won't
Panchanama.
we won't forget, sir. Now Pancha is subject thing.
Yes, sir.
After this much example.
Yeah, so this is where the panchayat, the Raj institutions, and Gram Panchayat. So all these are seat of power only. The Rachabanda, they come together, they sit together and discuss the issues, and someone will deliver. And this even now, if you observe that, very less cases go to the police stations in the villages, frankly speaking, because the most of the cases are settled within the village only. They
Okay.
have a caste panchayats. Panchayats means there are two kinds of panchayats. Village as a whole, they have a one panchayat, but caste, different caste, they have a different caste panchayats.
Oh.
They have a different, the village caste head will be there in that village. He will deliver the tirpu.
Oh.
Okay. So the most of the disputes, the fights between husband and wife, fights within the family, fights over the property. So most of the cases got settled here only. Only very few cases go to the police stations. But otherwise, majority of the cases are actually governed and dictated by these caste panchayats only.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm trying to indicate here is that this rural societies have a peculiar kind of political system where those caste panchayats or village panchayats are governed by social institutions. The caste panchayats are governed by particular caste, but whereas the village as a whole have a different caste panchayats. But village as a different whole, you find the which caste person you think that will be having a more enjoyment in that power. It is only the upper caste community,
Yes.
isn't it? And you look at the movies, for example, and movies are actually the picture of a rural society. And in the movie, the hero or the person who delivers the justice, he belongs to a particular caste. You look at, for example, Chenna Keshava Reddy, Samara Simha Reddy, Indra Sena Reddy, right? Or
Everyone.
Narsimha Naidu. And you take the example of typical, and recently you might have watched the Akhanda 2, for example. And in all these movies, what is actually they picturize is that the person generally comes from a upper caste. He becomes a savior of to entire village. He
Hmm.
becomes a savior. And and whereas all villagers are asked to listen to this village head. Generally this person comes from a upper caste background, and because why he enjoys the power, because because these people have lots of land in the village, because they captured that village, those lands long, long ago, and they enjoy the seat of power because they have lot of land wealth. So that is that you can observe in the villages. So these panchayat systems are actually, the seat of powers. Those seat of powers are derivative of caste norms, cultural patterns, beliefs, and so on and so forth. Do you agree with me? Do you have any doubt on this?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
Okay. And the next one we can discuss about, for example, in the rural society, housing pattern, for example, right? Let's to be just observe the housing pattern, that how these houses are being divided, demarcated from one kind. And in villages, you have what is this colony called? That colony called Ambedkar colony, for example. What is this Ambedkar colony? Ambedkar colony means that is a Dalit colony. What is this colony called? Different colony. And this in the village, if you find in each street, it is actually governed and lived by only particular caste communities. Whereas, suppose if you are new to the village, suppose if you are become a teacher, government teacher, suppose if anyone of you gets a government teacher job, and suppose if you land up in that village, you now know, as on the first day, when you get down from the bus and goes into the, the first person who's the person who's selling the tea, he'll be watching you very keenly. Who is this person who came to this village? The person will ask you, ah, madam, who are you, what do you want? Then you'll say, no, I'm a government teacher, I'm posted here. Oh, is it? Madam, go to that village head, immediately say that point. Suppose if you land up to a lower caste community, you'll be treated differently. Suppose if you talk to a upper caste community and who is very well off, you'll be treated differently. So look at this, how these social relations are governed in the village. I think that plays a huge role, and in rural societies. So, friends, so I think I will not bore you much with a few more lectures. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. You have any doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir. Clear, sir.
No, sir.
Clear? You understood now? And you
Yes,
also
sir.
share this information, and we'll discuss much more in the next classes. Tomorrow, I think we have class, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll discuss. So today we talked about the rural sociology. Okay,
Yes,
the
yes.
meaning, scope, nature, and the importance of rural sociology. Tomorrow we'll discuss much more about rural sociology in detail, and we'll also link up with the urban sociology for tomorrow's class. Because this class, I know this is not sufficient for you. You have a lot of questions, and a lot of but don't worry, and we are here to help you. And you just come down to the university. If you are around in surrounded by Hyderabad, you can always come and meet us. We are here to help you out. But why these classes are important? Because we are here to just give you an understanding, and since you have the material, and you will be asked to read that material. So after listening this class, if you read that material, you get some understanding about the subject. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. So now I'll sign off. Okay. If you have any doubts, just you can say, what ritual, what are you doing now?
Sir, I'm working in Christ University as a nurse through Apollo, sir. Pune,
Christ
sir.
University, which
That is in
Pune. You
Pune, sir.
okay? You're okay. No,
Yes.
no. Okay, you're in Pune. Now you're in Pune only.
I came for the Christmas break, sir.
Oh, fine. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Oh, that's nice. And what is this Begum? Razia Begum? Are you there online? Navyasri? Sai Kiran?
Hello, sir. I'm
Okay.
Razia.
Razia, so just tell me about yourself, what you're doing now. Are you doing any job?
No, sir. I'm a housewife, sir. But I want to do the degree,
Oh,
sir, for my career. I want to
very
grow,
good.
sir.
Very good.
Thank you,
Very
sir.
nice. Very nice. This is what I like. This is called empowerment. The empowerment comes to a woman only through education. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Very good. Very happy for you everyone that
Okay.
keep attending the classes, and you also spread the messages among your friends, since most of you have WhatsApp groups that say
Yes,
that
sir.
classes are running, where encourage them to join the classes.
Okay, sir.
Okay, now I'll be signing off since you have another class now. Okay. Okay, see
Thank
you
you, sir.
all, and
Thank
we'll
you,
meet
sir.
in the next class. Yeah. And my name, you remember my name?
Raghavendra,
What?
sir.
Raghavendra, sir.
Yes. Okay,
Dr.
we'll all meet.
Raghavendra, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
I'm a doctor. Fine.
Yeah, sir.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. So we'll meet
Yes, sir.
tomorrow then. Yeah. Have a
Okay,
good
sir.
day. Yeah, yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
sir.
Thank you. Right, right.